HOA Karen mocked my disabled son outside the barn. Now she's facing a federal lawsuit. The sun beat down on the dusty gravel outside the old red barn, where the scent of hay and earth hung heavy in the air. Emily stood frozen, her heart pounding, as Karen's shrill voice sliced through the quiet afternoon. "Your kid doesn't belong here, rolling around like some broken toy." Karen spat, her manicured finger jabbing toward Tommy, Emily's 12-year-old son, who sat in his wheelchair, his eyes fixed on the ground. The words landed like a punch, and Emily's vision blurred with rage. Tommy, born with cerebral palsy, had endured stares and whispers before, but this was cruelty laid bare. The neighborhood's HOA had always been Karen's kingdom. She patrolled the cul-de-sacs like a queen, her clipboard a scepter, her rules a decree. When Emily and Tommy moved to Willow Creek, Karen had welcomed them with a saccharine smile and a list of community standards. But that smile vanished the moment Tommy's wheelchair left tire marks on her pristine sidewalk. Today, outside the barn where the kids gathered for a community picnic, Karen's venom had erupted. "He's a liability," she'd shouted, loud enough for the other parents to turn and stare. Emily's hands trembled as she gripped Tommy's chair, her voice low but steady. "You don't get to talk about my son like that." Karen smirked, undeterred. "This is my neighborhood, Emily. I make the rules." The crowd murmured, some nodding in agreement, others shifting uncomfortably. Emily felt the weight of their gazes, the sting of their silence. But Tommy lifted his head, his voice soft but clear. "I just wanted to see the horses." The simplicity of his words cracked something open in Emily's chest. She turned to Karen, her voice rising. "You mocked a child, my child. You think you're untouchable." The confrontation escalated as Karen doubled down, her words laced with entitlement. "I'm protecting property values. People like him." She stopped short as a figure emerged from the barn's shadow. It was Old Man Carter, the reclusive farmer who owned the land. His weathered face was grim, his eyes sharp. "I heard every word, Karen," he said, his voice like gravel. The crowd fell silent. Carter, who rarely spoke at HOA meetings, pulled out his phone. "I recorded it, too. Disability discrimination's a federal offense, you know." The twist hit like a thunderclap. Karen's smugness faltered, her face paling as Carter held up the device, its red recording light still blinking. Emily's heart raced, not with triumph but with a heavy realization. Carter's unexpected intervention shifted everything. He wasn't just a bystander. He'd been watching, listening, and now he was handing her a weapon. "I'm done with your bullying," Carter said, his voice steady. "This barn's on my land, not your HOA's. You don't own this community." The crowd buzzed, some whispering in shock, others nodding as if waking from a spell. Karen stammered, her authority crumbling, but Emily wasn't finished. "You'll hear from my lawyer," she said, her voice cold. "This isn't just about Tommy. It's about every kid you've made feel small." Days later, Emily filed a federal lawsuit under the Americans with Disabilities Act. The news spread like wildfire, splitting Willow Creek in two. Some neighbors rallied behind Emily, sharing stories of Karen's petty tyranny, fines for untrimmed hedges, threats over kids' chalk drawings. Others defended Karen, claiming she was just enforcing standards. The lawsuit dragged on, exposing Karen's pattern of harassment, her emails filled with slurs, her influence over the HOA board. But the cost was heavy. Tommy grew quieter, his love for the barn's horses dimmed by the memory of that day. Emily's nights were sleepless, torn between justice and shielding her son from the town's whispers. In court, Karen's defense unraveled. Carter's recording was damning, and Emily's lawyer uncovered a paper trail of discriminatory HOA policies. Karen faced not just the lawsuit but public shame, her name synonymous with cruelty. Yet victory felt hollow. Tommy's smile, once bright, was now rare. The barn, once a place of joy, stood as a reminder of the fight. Emily won the case, but the community remained fractured, neighbors eyeing each other with suspicion. Justice had come, but at a price, a mother's heart broken by a world that let cruelty fester. What would you do if you saw someone like Tommy mocked? Share your thoughts on justice, community, and standing up for what's right.